Hey guys. So a couple of days ago, I was sitting there scrolling through Facebook Reels, and the Lord began to share with me something, and He began to show me how that was the perfect analogy for renewing your mind. And I was like, "Well, what are you talking about?" But first off, before I get into that, I wanted to say that notice that's when He began to speak to me. I wasn't in the middle of prayer. I wasn't in the middle of a church service. I was literally sitting there at my house and I was scrolling through Facebook Reels and I was unfollowing or saying not interested in some things that I saw, and I was following other things that I saw that I wanted to see more of. And that's when God began to speak to me. So I want you to pay attention and be basically just be ready and be able to receive from the Lord no matter where you're at, because He'll speak to you no matter where you're at. And so just be ready for that. But getting on to with what He actually was talking to me about, He was telling me how that's a perfect analogy for renewing your mind. And so I was kind of like, well, what are you talking about, Lord? And He began to talk to me about how, when I was going through those Facebook Reels, and there was certain things that I didn't like and I didn't want to see any more of that, so I'd say not interested. And then there was other things that I was like, oh yeah, I'd really like to hear more about this. I like this, whether it be like a preacher that was preaching something I liked or whatever, or whether it be like some golf videos, some golf videos or whatever. I was there was certain things I was interested in, and I was like, okay, I'm going to follow that. And there was other things I didn't want to see any more of, so I just say not interested. And He began to share with me how that's the exact same thing we do when we renew our mind with His Word. Because we begin to feel ourselves, we feed our spirit, and we begin to feel ourselves on His Word and our minds on His Word. And it begins to train or transform and renew our mind to the point where it's thinking on those things, on the things of Him, right? And so I was looking at that and I was like, wow, that's really cool. And He was basically saying, like, if you never put anything in your mind, just like if you were never to unfollow or say you're not interested in anything, you were never to follow anything on your social media, the algorithm would just keep pushing a bunch of random stuff towards you to see what you like, to see what you were more interested in. It would just keep pushing a bunch of stuff, and you would end up having a bunch of garbage, because how many of us know there's a lot of garbage online? You would end up having a bunch of garbage in your algorithm because it was just keep pushing a bunch of stuff. And in the same way, if you never fill yourself with His Word and with Him, then there's so much noise in this world everywhere we go. If you're in your own home, you can pretty much control what you listen to, what you watch, what you hear. But if you go out, like in your workplace, you may not be able to do that. Or if you're, out shopping, or if you're out eating with someone or whatever, you're going to see things and hear things, and you're not always going to be able to control what you see and hear. And so there's so much noise, and it's fighting for space in your mind. It's fighting for space in there. It's trying to put thoughts in there. It's fighting for room in there. And the enemy will use that to try to put things in there, right? But if you're continually sitting down with the Lord and you're saying, okay, I'm going to spend some time in His Word, I'm going to get this Word, I'm going to feed my spirit, I'm going to fill my mind with His Word, you begin to transform your mind to think more like He thinks, to think on the things of Him. That's what it talks about in Romans 12, 1 and 2. It's talking about transforming your mind and renewing your mind, and you're filling yourself with Him and His Word. And so I just wanted to get on here and share that with you guys, that I want you to be intentional about getting in His Word, spending time with the Father. It's not hard. It's not difficult, and it makes everything better. It really does. It builds you up on the inside. It feeds your spirit, man, and it builds you up, and it transforms your mind by renewing it to think on the things of Him. And it fills you. It gets rid of the anxiety. It gets rid of the fear. It gets rid of all the things that we would face, the depression. It gets rid of all that stuff that we would face in this world, because it fills your mind with Him. It fills your mind with Him. So guys, I love y'all, and I want y'all to just join with me and renew your mind. Fill your mind with the Word of God. Fill your mind. Think on things of Him. We love y'all, and we'll see y'all later.